Yes, Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
I do, and I'm the only one who can say it this time. Haha.
That is true. Well, supposedly I should know what that song means too, considering
Oh,
we've
do
had it
you?
for 40-ish rounds probably by now.
Well, yeah, but it's not a meep.
That's true. That comes later.
Yeah, that's true.
As we get closer to the end, probably the penultimate song will almost assuredly include a meep.
Oh, there
That's
we
not
go.
true. We've been getting better at not doing the meeps in there. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Mr. Bond.
And I'm Tormod.
This is Insert Credits round 83. Get on with it then. That's what I feel like telling this year pretty much every day. It's just like, come on, let's just stop this. Like, you've had your fun, now get out.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's still 2020 for like the seventh year now, and we're nobody's having a good time, but we're still here. We're still here. We're still fighting. We're still kicking. We're still doing what we can, which is very important. And that includes insert credits. So thank you
I
all
almost
for.
started quoting Portal, and then I realized that would, never
No,
mind.
maybe a bit too on the nose.
Maybe a little too on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Maybe for next round though. Like it might be
yeah,
appropriate next round.
I suppose.
But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out and listening and watching. Currently and after the fact, if you're watching this on YouTube, hello. Or
Hi.
listening to the archive later on. If you are an audio only person, that is fine too. We appreciate you all the same.
Hello, future me.
Hello, future listeners. Hello, future us, if we bother to listen to our stuff back. But let's be honest, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Housekeeping. We have the remainder of this, the longest year of our Lord 2020, scheduled out, I
Yep, we
believe.
sure do.
So November, we have the 13th, of course, the 13th of November, Friday the
hmm
13th for round
hmm
84.
We sure do.
And then December, we have outlined
The
the
11th.
11th for
hmm
round 85. So
True
we
that.
can look forward to that. Two scheduled bright spots in the remainder of 2020. So that is good and fine and cool.
hmm
No further housekeeping, I don't think. We had a rather long housekeeping segment last time talking about life changes and all that. So no need to double up on that this time.
Nope.
I think that's fine. I think we can go right into news. I specifically went lighter on news this time around. Firstly, because it's only been 3 weeks since round 82.
hmm
So not a whole lot of time, which is fine, I think. And also because our news segments tend to run long.
Oh, yes.
We get off on different tangents and topics and stuff, most of which are related to the VidGams and VidGam accessories. So I'm glad for that. But also, we probably should just stick to lesser topics, or not lesser, fewer topics in the quantitative sense. So here we go. Microsoft acquires ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion.
Yeah, that's a big number.
That's a lot of money. That's more money than I have a conception of. That's more money than the vast majority of us will ever see in our lifetimes. And Microsoft's just like, yeah, no problem. Let's buy ZeniMax Media, and that was that. ZeniMax Media includes id Software, Bethesda, and others. Those are the two of the bigger ones that they had ownership as subsidiaries, and now Microsoft owns them. So, I've got no real strong feelings about this one either way. It is news in the sense that something happened and it's newsworthy, and we should at least mention it. So there we are. I
Yay.
think we've generally not liked ZeniMax much in the past, and I don't quite remember exactly why. I think there was some trademark things going on with them, right? Didn't they try to trademark scrolls for Elder Scrolls or something, and then that interfered with Mojang's
Uh-huh.
title Scrolls, and there was a whole brouhaha around that. But
hmm
that feels like decades ago, even though it was probably only like 2 or 3 years. Um, but yeah, so by ZeniMax, you are now a subsidiary of Microsoft. Slightly better news. Well, not slightly, much better news, in fact. Noita, the roguelike dungeon crawling game where every pixel is physically simulated, it will hit their full 1.0 release on the 15th of October.
Awesome.
So that's next week, Thursday.
And you've been playing that in the past on why, Brain? Why are you doing this to me right now? Quest for Sonic Glory. There we go.
Yes, correct. It was a long runner, not too long ago. I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago by now. But it occupied my time for about a month and a half. I still have not put away a victory in it yet, which is unfortunate. But it's quite a difficult game, and it doesn't like me to succeed, especially when I play as aggressively as I do. But that's all
That's
right.
fair.
We can revisit it again after the full release. And
Can I?
uh-huh.
So, yeah. You familiar with the game Rogue?
I am.
Well, it's coming to Steam on the 20th. The original OG Rogue that inspired all of the Rogue likes. Figured I'd
I,
mention that.
I hear it is labeled itself in Steam as a traditional roguelike.
I would hope so.
This is
Very self-referential.
so humorous to me. But yes,
Uh-huh.
that's very good. That's very exciting. I think I might have played like OG traditional rogue maybe for like 5 minutes. I don't remember what my opinion on it was at the time. It feels like it was a long time ago, and it probably was.
Yeah.
Um, but I've definitely played many of its progenitors.
Yes.
NetHack certainly, and any of the recent
Mm.
roguelike titles or roguelite titles or rogue ultra titles or rogue I can't believe it's not rogue titles, and I don't know how many different variations you want on that whole kind of
Right,
genre.
right.
But I find all of them quite entertaining. So I like the fact that it's coming, like the original ancestor of all this is now coming to a more accessible venue such as Steam.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the chance to play the original at Midwest Gaming Classic once in their museum, I guess is what they called it. They ended up having several rows of like, hey, this is where things started, and let's have this replica Pong. And then they went throughout the old ages of things, and they had original terminals set up for certain things, and of course they had Rogue, and that was my first experience with it actually on real hardware. So,
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm kind of curious how they're gonna go about distributing it, because usually it was I think it was GOG, Good Old Games,
mhm,
packaged it up with DOSBox, some of the old
right,
DOS games. So I'm curious
yeah, I wouldn't.
what Steam's gonna do with this.
Actually, that reminds me of something. So speaking of emulators for things,
Mm-hmm.
let's see here. Scum VM ended up merging with another VM earlier today, and I want to look for who that is because it gained a bunch of compatibility when it did it. I
Nice. Scum VM, for
think.
those not particularly in the know, was responsible for a number of the LucasArts adventure games, point and clicks, puzzle based, etc.,
Hmm.
etc. I believe even Maniac Mansion had a variation on Scum VM, but I don't recall.
Yeah, interesting. It looks like they merged with Residual VM earlier today, which brings support for Grim Fandango, Escape from Monkey Island, Mystery Exile, and The Longest Journey.
Hmm.
So that is really exciting, especially for someone who's just not terribly well steeped in that genre. I like point and clicks, the concept. I like watching them. I haven't played them yet. This is going to make it more accessible to have a greater library of games to choose from. So that's exciting to me.
Sure, sure. I will say that even if you're not into playing them, I would definitely recommend watching, say, a long play of these various adventure games,
Hmm.
especially ones that step through the games in their entirety, doing all the optional things, doing all the text, or many of them had voice acting later on as well. It's just like a nice thing to have on in the background to kind of half pay attention to, or be like, oh yeah, I never played this back in the day, back when these things were huge and popular and all that. But it's always nice
Hmm.
to kind of see a playthrough, and such as it is, the preservation of it is tip top usually. So, huh? I had never heard. What was the second one that they merged with? I already forgot.
Let me look it up again. It is Residual VM.
Residual VM. Okay, I had never heard of that.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was my first time seeing it today. I ended up seeing that Scum VM ended up having a tweet 5 hours ago that says a merger. Ooh. Sorry for the wait, Mr. Flores. I'm ready to take you now. Is a quote from Grim Fandango. Today is a special day, special in a number of ways. First of all, we hit a milestone with 19 years of Scum VM with their first release that was 0.0.1 that happened on October 8th and 2000. That was great.
Wow.
2001? 2000?
2001 would be 19
someone,
years, yeah.
Yeah, someone did some math wrong there, but that's fine.
So which one is correct, the 2000 or the 19 years?
I'm pretty sure the 19 years is correct.
Okay.
Pretty sure, because somebody else had mentioned 2000. So in any case, yeah, that's pretty great.
Very good. Well, more upcoming releases. This is not a series that I've been, well, I don't know if you'd call it a series. This is not a title I've been following recently much. But Minecraft 1.17 is scheduled to be released upcoming summer 2021. This includes two major updates, a previously named Mountain update, which never quite fully saw the light of day, and also another major update entitled Caves and Cliffs, which will expand new mobs, new stuff you can mine, new things you can build, new biomes, like a pretty significant expansion on all of this stuff, which is exciting to me because I've recently started playing it a little bit more as just like a chill, no goal type of game. Just walk around, admire things, do some things, and just put it down for a bit. Then it's real nice. It's very very fitting for nowadays where everything is just on fire constantly and you need to just go away somewhere for a bit.
Yep. I actually recently started playing it again myself.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. Vlad and I ended up doing a shared world, and after a while I was like, you know what? I kind of just want to build something in this large tree thing biome that I'm in now, and let's just turn off the mobs for a little bit so I can do that and not be scared. So that'd be cool.
Sure.
But I ended up finding some cool stuff. I didn't even know like half this stuff was there, like this mesa biome and things like that. There's just a bunch of new stuff that I hadn't seen before because I was playing back in 2012 last, I think.
Yeah, back when we had that shared server for a bit. I think it was the last time I primarily played as well. Yeah, since then there's been so many different biome updates, and they put a lot more stuff in the Nether now too. So if you eventually get there, you'll see some new things. Bunches of new mobs, new crafting, new everything. So it's really neat. Maybe we'll spin up another shared server at some point. That might be a lot of
that'd
fun.
be great. Like the last thing that I remember doing and shying away from because I was confused by that was the enchantment system. Like, we have potions now. We have all sorts of things. We have wands. Just wow. There's a lot of content and there's a lot to remember. And fortunately, there is a crafting guide built in now.
Yep.
So like if you have an object that you can use to make something else, it'll be like, oh hey, here's the recipe. You want to make it? I'm like, yes, thank you. This is great.
Give me, please.
So I was like, I need 75 stone pickaxes. Thank you.
I don't think you can hold 75 stone pickaxes, but
I mean,
that's a lot of them. That's a lot of them. Yeah, so that's, I mean, Minecraft is good fun, with or without. I've actually taken to watching speedruns of it too, as well, which is just wild to me. Like, here's a game I've never made it to the end of that I get, to a certain point, and then I either die or I lose interest or I die and go back to spawn, and then I can't find my way back to where I was. So it's just like, well, crap, I may as well just start over again just for funsies. And yeah, never quite make it to the end and finish it off. And here's people going through it in 23 minutes or something. It's just like, come on, like, let me enjoy this, please. But it is fun to watch.
My strategy for finding my way back to things is really dumb. I will take like 4 or 5 full stacks of something and just build up, standing on top of it, jumping until I hit like world height, and then jump down and hope I hit water. So yeah, it's a thing. It gives me something to do.
Whatever does it for you. You can also build maps and stuff that will actually render in game that you can follow back. And they've got campfires.
They changed the way maps work.
Did they?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I remember it being different. But yeah, the campfire thing I did have a little experience with, but never actually made one myself. I saw one. I stepped in one. It didn't hurt.
Well, don't do that.
So, well, at least I don't remember it hurting. Maybe it did. I don't know. It's a campfire. It's supposed to be nice.
It is
But
nice. It's a little smoky. It sends out smoke signals, and you can find your way back mostly. I don't know. It's just neat. There's so many like different quality of life adjustments and new and new stuff. Like it's just like, oh well, that's neat. I would always recommend having the wiki pulled up alongside, so
yeah,
you know what you're doing. Because my memory ain't great. I like being able to look up new things as I find them, and even if
yeah,
it's like even for spoilers and whatever, don't worry about spoiling yourself. Like it's you're either not going to remember or it's probably much more valuable to you to know rather than to kind of bumble your way through it.
yeah, sure.
Oh boy, but yeah, looking forward to that summer 2021 1.17. Rather significant update. I believe both the Java edition and the Bedrock edition, on which all the other platforms are based, will be getting the update at the same time. So full parity from the get go, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something not so nice to hear, however, I guess it depends on your perspective. There's been a couple like actual full-on criminal arrests of a pair of console hackers. Apparently, the Department of Justice here in the states took a pair of team executor members into custody over the alleged sale of like full-scale hardware Switch mod chips,
Huh.
alleging that they were primarily being used to play pirated ROMs, which anybody even close to this scene is like, yeah, that's almost certainly what they were being used for. Uh,
Uh-huh.
um, but this is kind of a weird step because even hardware modders were never really criminally pursued. It was always civil lawsuits, DMCA's, C&Ds, all that sort of thing. Of course, Nintendo probably being one of the worst offenders of all of that lot. But now to see that kind of turn to now criminal indictments and all that shit is kind of scary. So be careful out there, everybody. Stay off the shady shit for your own protection and for the protection of those around you. But it was interesting to hear about how there was a rather large scale manhunt for just these two people involved with this fairly well known hacking team for Switch things. So it's just like, whoa, this has suddenly turned very serious for some reason, and it seems to have come out of left field. But I didn't read too much beyond that, so maybe this has been going on for a while. Uh,
Yeah.
but always kind of a shock to hear like almost like a very sudden escalation of things. It's like, whoa,
Hmm.
okay. Well, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
But that's all I got for news. So, what else you got there, Tormod?
All right. Well, let's move on to the stuff that I hadn't already said here. Ah, yes. So, speaking of Minecraft, Minecraft is going to be a part of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, with those characters including Steve, Alex, Enderman, and Zombie arriving as part of the Fighters Pass 2 DLC, and that will be on the 14th of October. Um, if you haven't had an opportunity to watch the Smash Brothers Direct, Sakurai explained the technical difficulties and the balance changes that needed to happen. And there was some additional content that I didn't have a chance to watch that was separate from that. But yeah, that was fairly large. A lot of people are extremely excited for that. And as someone who wasn't entirely gripped by Minecraft, so that wasn't like my generation kind of thing. Like I think it's really cool, but um, some of my friends are very much like, "Oh my god, this is like the best video gaming and most controversial thing that happened in 2020 with video games." And I'm like, "Okay." I don't know. I've never been super huge into Smash, but all of the speculation on the characters that are coming into Ultimate has been really interesting and fun to listen to. So, I'm glad people are excited. I just don't really think it's as bombshell of a thing as people are making it out to be, considering like everybody's expected Minecraft to do something at some point, and here we are finally.
It's
So,
always kind of wild when that speculation starts happening about, oh, who are they gonna add next, and then all
uh
the
huh.
memes start like, when is X for Smash or whatever.
Yep,
And
yep.
I don't know why this time in particular seems like especially divisive. Like most of my Twitter TL was very excited about, oh, Steve's in, oh, Alex is in, mine, Enderman,
Uh huh.
Zombie, it's all so cool. And I watched the
Yep.
the 3 minute reveal video for it. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like it's really neat. They always do these very polished intros and all that.
Yep.
It was very funny to me. But
Mario just
then
staring.
yeah, but then like the very contrarian 10% of my timeline is always like, oh, well, this sucks. So why didn't X get in? Why didn't so and so get in? Or like, it's like, come on,
Uh
like,
huh.
can't we all just have fun with this? Like, it's a dang fighting game. Come on.
But it's supposed to produce infighting, rebel, rebel.
Right.
So,
It's just so wild to me to see these things just pop up. And then, of course, yeah, Nintendo's been doing great with their directs and their announcements and all that. So there's always this huge run up of hype of like, oh, the next direct is coming. Oh, they're going to announce new Smash characters. Blah, 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 rabble, rabble. And
hmm
it's just funny to me just being able to sit back. I don't have like a whole lot of investment in it either. Like, I like Smash. I like Smash. I like playing Minecraft. I don't see a problem with them crossing over like that. It
uh
was
huh.
actually kind of out of left field for me because I had no idea they were even thinking about
Yeah,
slapping
for
some
sure.
Minecraft characters in there. But I'm happy. I'm happy that it's not another sword character, so that's fine. That's
It's
fine.
not another Fire Emblem character. Yeah.
Right? Like, oh my god, we don't need any more of those. I know you're
Just give
into
me like
Fire
17
Emblem.
Ikes. It's okay. Don't
Oh
worry.
my
It's
god.
fine.
Well, you can play 8-way Smash and fill it with your sword boys if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, they can just beat each other with swords. It's fine. I expect blood, Nintendo. Come on. I don't know. That was
That ain't gonna
weird.
happen.
Yeah, I know. But Fuzzy brings up a good point. Kirby no longer orb, Kirby cube.
Right.
It's kind of great. So, anyhow, speaking of things that Microsoft now owns, Microsoft has their own plan to circumvent the Apple App Store. Um, they want to bring their xCloud game streaming service to iOS. Of course, Apple wants them to list every game individually and have to go through the review process and all this other stuff. And they said, so they're planning to do this through the web browser, which apparently Amazon does for some of their streaming content as well to get around things on iOS. So sure, why not? I mean, hey, at least Microsoft isn't suing. So
I guess I can't see this going very far, but I'm interested to see them try.
yep, we'll see. And you're placing a lot of faith inside of Safari there, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt. Like that was kind of my first thought about all this is like the web browser, huh? Safari,
Uh-huh.
huh?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
One of the last bastions of things that haven't been taken over by, other browsing cores. WebKit, you're the one and only at this point. So, but anyhow, that tickled me a little bit earlier today. Okay. So a Kickstarter that I'm actually involved in is ending in just under or just over 2.5 hours, rather. It is the Wormwood modular gaming table. It's pretty neat. So I've been going to PAXs and whatnot and seeing all sorts of these like dining room convertible tables that you can like actually use as a wargaming surface, or you can do your D&Ds, or you can have displays that are built in or whatnot. So this thing is pretty neat. It has 2.5 hours left to go. So if you're interested, head over to Kickstarter.com and search for Wormwood. That's WYRMWOOD. Their modular gaming table is, I think, the highest backed Kickstarter to date. At present, they have $8.6 million. So how it works is their least expensive table is $300. So that's what you have to put down minimum to have a slot in their various waves. But they have a configurator on the page, so you can choose your table size, the finish that you want, the accessories that can go with it, and whatnot. There is a discount on their accessories when you order it as part of the Kickstarter. I believe it's 10%. But you get your final total, and then when you adjust your pledge later on, you say, "Oh, hey, actually, I'm paying this much."
Oh, I see. Okay.
Um, so that's so they have 7,681 backers, but $8.6 million. So everybody is finally paying up or adjusting their amount at the end of the campaign here. They'll be using backer kits so that people can add other things like, as it being modular, you can buy different table leg sizes. So, for instance, the one that I ended up opting for as eventually going to be my actual dining room table is a bar height wargaming size table. So instead of being super long like a traditional dining room table, the room that we're putting it in wouldn't really fit that too well. So we instead went with a wargaming style, which is not as long but is deeper. So it still has ample room for 8 people to sit there and eat. It has a topper that you take off, and then it reveals the felt playing surface and whatnot. When you take the topper off, it has magnetic rails around the outside of the perimeter toward the top of the table, and you put on like a card holder or a beverage holder that stays off the table so you don't stain the wood. It has a desk that you can put in there that has like a little area for you to hold your dice and roll your dice and stuff like that. An area for you to put your character sheets and all that kind of stuff. So whatever you want it to be, it can be. And I was really excited by that. It was something that I had wanted since I was going to PAX. And I always saw them between the various convention areas where they were in the dark room. But they always had the board games and the dice and all the other stuff in the brightly lit area, and then everything else was darkness immediately around. But all those tables were really there and really cool. They always had these catalogs, but they were so expensive because they were pretty much like build to order back then.
Right. Yeah.
And instead of being like 5K plus now, they're making it extremely accessible by turning it into a modular thing where you can buy, hey, I want to buy this size table now, but in the future, I want to buy a larger table and just slap the legs I already have on the thing. And it's pretty neat. So I backed it. I'm really excited. I ended up using a Python script to scrape the Kickstarter website every minute to see when somebody would back out of an earlier tier so I can go on to their tier sooner. And I actually got all the way from wave 10 to wave 1. So I couldn't quite make it to the early bird free shipping tier that's due for January, but my pledge, I guess, will be fulfilled sometime in February. So that's pretty great.
Wow.
We were starting to consider like, oh, hey, we're probably gonna have to buy a table in the interim because it's gonna be over a year until we get this. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure we can wait a few months. So pretty excited. I'm really thrilled. We have a very, very long kitchen island, so we were planning on using bar stools for seating there as a replacement for like a formal dining room for ourselves. So we were thinking, well, why don't we just buy some bar stools and then bring them into the other room when we want to use the actual like official table for business use and food. So I'm pretty excited. I like using things for more than one purpose in the house. Really cool because I can just move them between the rooms. So I'm excited. But that Kickstarter, again, just under 2.5 hours now. I'm just watching the money ticker just fly up at this point as people are finally adjusting their pledges at the last minute. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm going to close that so I don't continue staring at numbers that are changing. But one last thing that I have in my news here, AMD, of course. AMD has a big month this month. They had their Zen 3 announcement yesterday, and they're going to have their big Navi announcement on the 28th. Let's see here. Zen 3, fully detailed as for the processors they have coming out this coming November on the 5th. Already. So we start with the 5900X. So your core count and your thread count as compared to Zen 2 will be the same that I've noticed. So 5600X, 6 core, 12 threads, TDP of 65 watts. Your base frequency has been bumped to 3.7. It boosts up to 4.6. This is their like entry-level gaming SKU, boosting up to 4.6. 35 megs of L3 cache, and it sells for $299. The 5800X bumps you up to 8 cores and 16 threads, and it bumps the TDP up 40 watts to 105. Also bumps the base frequency up a little bit to 3.8, and also the boost up to 4.7. It has a 36 megabyte L3 cache. I don't know why 35 and 36 are right next to each other, but okay. And it bumps the price to $449. The 5900X, which, if you remember last year when they released Zen 2, 3900 was the king of the hill for a while because the 3950 was announced a month and a half later. Availability was really scarce. So this year we have the 5900X. Similarly, has 12 cores and 24 threads, also the same 105 watt TDP as the 5800X. The base frequency goes down again a little bit to 3.7 as we have higher cores, but the boost goes up to 4.8. The cache is almost doubled. It's at 70 megs now for L3 cache, and it sells for $549. But wait, there's more. So they had this at the very end. They announced the 5950X. It's going to be on sale at the same time as the other SKUs. 16 cores, 32 threads, the same 105 watt TDP, a base frequency of 3.4. It boosts up to 4.9. We're
God.
almost at 5 gigahertz now. We probably will be at 5 gigahertz with people doing PBO automatic overclocking and whatnot, but it boosts up to 4.9 as is with a 72 megabyte L3 cache, $800. So, all in all, compared to Zen 2, between 15 and 20% IPC improvement, which is the largest generational leap since Zen became a thing. So, Zen to Zen Plus was marginal. Zen Plus to Zen 2 was about 10 to 12, but now we're hitting 15 to 20, and wow, that's big. Benchmarks that they did live at the event beats Intel on single core. So finally, AMD at the moment has the highest score on Cinebench for single threaded applications, which of course means games. So at the very, very end of the presentation, AMD had a little preview of what's coming for Radeon, the 6000 series that's going to be released, or excuse me, announced later this month. So pairing the 5900X, not the 5950, with the Radeon 6000 something, we don't know what. We know there's at least going to be multiple SKUs, but they paired it with a GPU, yielded 4K 60 plus on AAA titles on the highest graphics settings. So that's pretty neat. And again, all of those CPU SKUs will be available for purchase on the 5th of November. We'll see if it turns out to be as big a clusterfuck as NVIDIA's release of the 3000 series GPUs.
So now I always forget, and you'll probably have to remind me again, but is this or is this not a new AM socket?
This is the last of the AM4 socket architectures, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Let me actually double check that. I believe they're moving to a 5 nanometer process next time. I could be wrong. Zen 4.
Because dang,
Let's look here.
all that
Yep.
sounds real tempting, but I know
Yeah.
that this AM socket generation is reaching the end, and I would probably feel real bad to buy in at this point and then suddenly, oh, next gen, you need a new socket. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, though, I mean, we've been on AM4 for a while. It's been 4 years now.
Right. And the likelihood that I would get a new processor without getting a new main board anyways is probably exceedingly slim, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I have an X570 board at present, and I'm really happy with it. And I'm really happy that Zen 3 is going to support it. But Zen 4 does move to AM5. So, but of course, that's also going to bring with it DDR5. They're already talking about USB 4. They're already talking about PCIe 5.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited for it. I will probably upgrade. I'm looking forward to being able to push single-threaded things. I want to be able to play games hard on one thread if they're not multi-threaded optimized, and also do all my encoding out to disk and out to stream on the same box without needing a Threadripper. It would be so nice. I have a 3900X at present. It's mighty tempting. And with the memory controller supporting even faster RAM at lower latencies, I mean, there's kind of talk about DDR4 4200 cast latency 15 and 16 being a thing. And that's mind-boggling, considering Zen and Zen Plus barely were able to hit over 3000, and that's with poor timings. So things are exciting, very exciting. But we'll see what happens in about a month. I'm sure on our next show I'll be able to talk about the release as well as just exactly what came of those Radeon 6000 card announcements.
Exciting time to be alive for an actually good reason this time.
Tech nerdery, yay! It's my escapism from everything else, yay!
Hey, whatever helps you, man. Whatever helps
Yeah,
you.
right.
All right, is that the finish of the news there?
I believe so. Shall we head into our first segment of tunes?
Yes, please. Let's get some music.
All right. So segment one is going to start off with Dungeoneering by Rebecca E. Tripp from The Legend of Zelda. That's the first game. Secondly, we'll have Blue Magic from Jean of Mark and Gamer of the Winds from Terranigma, and wrapping up with Wires of Sponges by T-Bone, Slappy, and Wildcat from Mega Man X2.
right. Well, it's not quite been a full month. It's been 3 weeks. Very, very short gap since last show. So I presume our lists are shorter this time, I would say.
About the same length, actually.
Oh, really? What length is that?
Um, 0.
Aw.
Sorry.
Aw.
Yeah, I've been playing the oh god, we can finally punch a patch panel game and the my server's passively cooled all what can I make it do game and the yeah, not a whole lot.
Oh well. You'll get it next time. That's fine.
Yeah, hoping so.
Boy, well, it's still been a little bit of a packed 3 weeks for me, though, which is fine. Which is fine and cool. I finished up playing the Talos Principle Road to Kenneth, the little expansion they had, I want to say like 2 years ago or whatever. Um, I always like to share like little things that happen in this game. So in the last time I played it, which was on Monday this week, was the final kind of session of it. The session before that on Wednesday night last week, I got like absolutely stymied on the final set of puzzles, which is not really a big surprise because this last group of puzzles is like end game bonus content type stuff where it's just bizarre
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't play well with my brain after 2 hours of already playing the game that night. So I got totally stonewalled by it. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll leave it. We'll leave it again until next week, which is now this week. So Monday night rolls along, whatever. Just get in, do the intro, do whatever. It's like knockout. I start up like the one of 5 remaining puzzles I had to go. And that one took a little bit, like 45 minutes to figure out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So then I move on to the next one. Knock that one out in 5 minutes. Okay, move on to the next one. Knock that one out in 10 minutes. And it's like, wow, okay. These were tough last time. What happened now? And then knock out the remaining two. The last one took like 20-25 minutes or something. But it's just amazing to me, constantly amazing to me. Like just a couple nights in between, and then suddenly things are not necessarily clearer, but I can think in the weird twisted ways that they wanted me to think finally, and we got it done. The ending was kind of a disappointment. I don't know that it was very well thought out, um, but it was whatever. I wasn't playing the game for the ending. I wasn't there to say, oh, like, oh, this is some huge like philosophical reveal or something. I don't care. I was
Mm-hmm.
there to do the puzzly puzzles, and have a good time, which was definitely had. So, uh, F's in chat for Talos Principle. We're done with that now.
Well, GG.
Thank you. So you remember last time we talked about an impending release of a certain very highly anticipated sequel
Oh yes.
involving a cave spelunker.
Uh-huh.
So
Or
Spelunky 2,
several.
yeah, Spelunky 2 finally released, and I started that up this past Wednesday.
It was great.
It's a fun game. It's a real fun game. Like totally got my ass kicked. I only got to the second set of areas a handful of times. Just totally ate shit right before getting to the third zone. So it's like, oh well, oops, oh well. But it is very much in the vein of OG HD Spelunky or whatever it's called. Um, just more content, a little bit of expansion, some slightly different physics, some slightly meaner physics, um, slightly different hitboxes on some of the weapons, and more like more very crunchy systems interactions, which is absolutely hands down what I 100% love about the game. Is just weird shit interacting with each other, and then oh crap, I've suddenly got 10,000 different ways I can now eat it, so that's good. Thanks, Spelunky.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always fun to see like this gigantic web of interactions just suddenly fire off, and then no run is ever the same because of it. And even if you know exactly what everything does with everything else, like you're still gonna get surprised by something. So just one night into Spelunky 2, that will probably set me for 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks down the road now. Just being able to get through the game once, because there's so many different hidden areas and new characters, new items, and new this, new that, and the soundtrack is amazing, of course, and the art style is amazing, of course, and the storyline. Yeah, I don't really care about the storyline, but it's cute. It's cute and adorable and fun, but it's just always a side thing for me. But
But
Spelunky
talk.
2, 100% recommended. Please go play. Please go buy. Please go play. Um,
Uh-huh.
you'll probably get frustrated, but whatever. That's part of the game at this point. Um, so really looking forward to picking it back up again next week.
Sure.
As mentioned earlier in news, I've been starting to play some Minecraft again, just a little light exploration, some light construction. I got real lucky in my last kind of restart of it where I spawned very near to a village. So it's a very easy kind of start of things. You've already got a pre-made shelter and you can get some food and do whatever and then kind of strike off from there. But it was fun to just kind of start there and be very chill and protect the village if you want to and build out the village if you want to, which I've taken to doing now. So that's a little fun little distraction aside from everything else.
So many emeralds.
Many emeralds if you get the right trades going. Yeah, certainly.
Right.
On the Shmup Book Club side of things, this past Thursday was the first Thursday of October, so we started a new one. Or no, this is the second Thursday, right? Yeah, second Thursday. Sorry. But the shmup for October is Aero Fighters 3. Pretty standard, I would say. Top-down, vertically scrolling shmup. Weird characters. Some weird translations, weird aka incorrect spellings, bad grammar, that sort of thing that you always kind of look forward to.
As you do.
Yeah, it's fun, but it feels very standard to me. We had played another variation of it. It's known as Aero Fighters in, I believe, North American release, and then I think European and Japanese regions it's Sonic Wings. So we had played another variation, Sonic Wings Limited, a few months back, which was more of the same, just maybe a little bit more polished. I think it was a slightly later release, so they had more going for it. But that was fun to see the kind of character crossover between the two. And then the quarterly for the fourth quarter, October through December for 2020, Choren Sha 68K, which is a freeware Japanese game. And I believe it also has like an actual release for the 68K system. So if you happen to have that console, I guess, or PC Engine or whatever it is, or you have an emulator for it, I think you can actually pick up a variation of this game that actually runs on the 68K, which is kind of funny and cool.
That is awesome.
The music is way better than it has any reason to be, which is always great. It's just a very bumping, high energy tune all the way through. The gameplay is very very nice as well. Sometimes for some of these freeware shmups, it's usually they're more simplistic. They're not super fleshed out. It's not incredibly complex, or there's not these weird sequences of things you need to do to get high scores and stuff. There are a couple things in this one that kind of make it stand out, which is nice, including a method where you can get all of the power-ups at once, where normally you would destroy a ship that carries a power-up, and it would spawn a ring of 3 power-ups: a shield, a weapon power-up, or a bomb. And normally you can only pick one of them. You pick the one and then you get it. But there's a method of getting all 3 of them at the same time, which is position-based and very kind of touchy. And I'm kind of disappointed that I know how to do it and that it's a thing, because now that's all I'm trying to do, which is not good for longevity, because you'll often put yourself into a very bad position in trying to get all the power-ups at once, although it is very very lucrative for points. So obviously you gotta go for it, you gotta do it. This past Thursday, when I just started playing Choren Sha, something weird happened during stream. Also, the fabled double squawk happened, which I was not aware that it did happen, because it was an audio glitch on everybody else on the Discord call who was listening, and I didn't get to hear it myself. So people were just laughing their butts off for some reason. Like, all right, dudes, what's going on? What's so funny? And they told me, and then somebody managed to capture an audio recording of it, so I listened to it later and like, yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah, you do kind of double up occasionally on Discord.
Yeah, so it was hilarious. It was like if you played like standard arcade like fighters or beat 'em ups or something, where they go ha 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 or something for their attacks. It kind of sounded like that, which is hilarious to me.
That's awesome.
But I'm a very noisy schmupper the way it is, so to hear that doubled up again upon itself is just even better somehow. And since I've started doing kind of more long play focused stuff on Sundays, I've played both Crosscode and Hades. A little bit more. Crosscode had a small content update where they added another quest. So I knocked that out on one Sunday. It was very fun to go back to the game. It's very pretty, sounds great storyline, great mechanics, everything. So as soon as they drop more content for it, I'll definitely pick it up again. And then Hades was another release we talked about last time, which hit full 1.0 out of early access. Unfortunately, in transitioning to the full release, somehow my save file got nuked. So rip 40 hours of progress. Unfortunate, but the game is still super fun, so I don't mind that much. Just means I have to play more of it to get back to where I was. And I'm trying to do it very carefully, whereby, yeah, okay, shit, I lost 40 hours of progress. I want to play it a little carefully so that next time I stream it, it'll be new stuff, and I don't want to accidentally hit like the actual ending before I stream it next. So that'll take a little bit of doing. But that's it. Boy, howdy, that was a lot to cover in 3 weeks, I guess.
Is that it? Like for real?
I think so.
Okay.
So. So now it's time for some more tune skis. So I will be announcing this section. First up, we've got a remix from God of War entitled "War Never Changes" by Isaire, and then a remix from Mario Kart Double Dash entitled "Vacation in the Mushroom Kingdom" by Juke, and then finally a remix from Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2 by Malkos entitled "Misdirection." There is to be no meep tonight, I have decided.
Dang it.
That one gave me a little bit of leeway to kind of judge the cutoff correctly. Although I wonder if there's a setting in VLC I can use to be like, hey, give me 3 more seconds of silence between each track, please. And it would accommodate.
I think so.
Oh well, something to look into for next time. Well, we up to the final segment tonight where we do some design. We got some good designs tonight, I feel. I certainly did not look ahead at your design there, Tormod. That's a lie. I totally did.
Fair enough.
But should we play like rock paper scissors to see who goes first, or
Ooh, Rochambeau.
Oh, that's right. No, not Rochambeau. Brings back bad memories of a certain weird Wii game.
Yeah. Hey, it also came out on PS2. So.
Did it? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Someday we'll go back to it.
I feel like I saw that there was a speedrun of it for some reason, but I don't remember where I saw it or when. I might have to go look that up just for.
Yep, big same. So when you go look that up, you should send me some info.
Yeah, just so that I can watch and not participate. But anyways, I guess I will go first tonight then, if you would not mind. All right. Sure. So tonight, I know, please sit down and clutch your pearls closely. I've designed a shmup. I know. It's a big shocker.
Hey, it's not twin stick, so
that's true. Like, I've been trying to balance it out a little bit. So I have an open world shmup. Open world in kind of heavy quotes here, because open world and shmup probably don't mix the greatest, but we're gonna try to do it anyways. And it's a shmup with morphing perspectives, in so much as each level might play a little bit differently. You might have your traditional vertical scrolling shmups. You might have some side scrolling shmups in there. You might have like a forward on rails type thing, like Star Fox type shmup going on. It depends on the type of level that you're engaging with. And the open world aspect kind of comes into play, where it's more of you start off at kind of like almost a hub world type thing, and you can go to different areas and do these different levels, and they might be different perspectives as just mentioned. But it's more open world in the sense that you actually have to fly there in your ship to do it. It's not a discrete level selector like say a Mario Overworld or something like that. But you actually have to go and fly there.
Dang it, Star Fox, come on.
Yeah, right. So the story, in much heavier quotes this time, such as it is Gradius-like. You are tasked with repelling an invading enemy force. And to do this, you have to hop between these various kind of hub areas, fly around, play the levels, beat the bosses, etc., etc. But in the order in which you do it is kind of up to you. You can go straight on the counterattack and just plow through levels and get to the enemy headquarters, destroy them, and save everything. But then you have to double back and help out your friends and your allies and kind of save your own bases at that point. Or you can start defensive and kind of wait for the enemy to come to you a little bit, destroy their attacking force, and then go hit the enemy HQ if you so choose. So open worldy, a little bit of your own order of stage selecty, and just kind of go from there. So you unlock multiple open world hubs for levels. There are some travel sections in between that are levels unto themselves. Those will probably typically be the vertical scrolling or the side scrolling, the very traditional shmup kind of layouts for those. But as soon as you kind of unlock these open world hubs, then you can always fast travel between the ones that you've unlocked. So there's no repetition of levels unless you want to. You can also go back and replay levels for score or practice or whatever you want. And the story maybe won't quite support that quite as well, but I mean, the story is supposed to be minimal regardless, because I'm not really heavy into story anyways. There are certain discrete difficulty levels, but it's not meant to kind of gate play or gate content at all. You can see the entirety of the game, bonus content and all, if you play on super easy. You don't need to play on super hard to unlock like the true secret ending or anything. Because that's kind of a trend I've seen in a lot of shmups, is that, you don't get the true final boss unless you play on super ultra difficult, melt your retinas difficulty. So no, that doesn't seem like a good trend. So we're going to allow seeing the entirety of the game, true final boss and all, even on the very easiest difficulty, so that everybody can see all the content, because that's cool and good. So the difficulty really determines the length of some levels, the enemy and bullet density, the frequency of quote unquote random skirmishes that might happen as you're traversing the open world. I'm thinking something like the mobile enemy units that kind of go around the map on OG Bionic Commando, if you remember how that was laid out a little bit. Or to get closer to the shmup genre, how the mobile enemy units would function in, say, UN Squadron, where they would travel between levels, and if you happen to overlap with them as you were going between levels, oh hey, you have an extra little fight to do. Um, Ideally, these fights would be visible, so you could choose to engage with them or not, with the understanding that if you did kind of skirt around them and skip them, you probably would have to go back and fight them at some point to kind of help out your allies or rescue one of your bases that got taken over or something like that.
It's bad
Um,
that kind of reminds me of those little Hammer Bros fights on SMB3.
no, that's very very close to that.
Okay,
But in more of an open world sense where you're not stuck on the same line as them, so you can go around them if you so choose, even
sure.
without using a cloud. But yeah, that's certainly a good parallel to draw there as well.
Okay,
And what good shmup is complete without leaderboards? They're back. They're back. New, fresh leaderboards for every level and difficulty pair. So you're not trying
cool.
to skate to the top of the boards, playing on super easy, and finding somebody who played on super hard just dominating everything. But you can definitely do leaderboards for each difficulty in each level, and slowly advance your skill. Or if you're not interested in that, just playing it all on super easy and seeing how good you can get just on the super easy difficulty.
Heck yeah.
And that's it. Fairly basic shmup. I didn't want to go into like shmup specific mechanics because honestly, there's a lot of clever things out there that you can do with shmups, but I'm not particularly um, proficient at coming up with new things there. So I wanted to take more of the camera perspective, being a little bit fluid, and then the level selection perspective being a little bit fluid and different, and kind of mash those together instead.
That's awesome.
All right, that's all I got. What you got tonight?
All right. Well, true to form as the last 3 months now, I think it was. I decided to use the genre generator for coming up with how the heck I want to make my game. And it decided to give me 4 genres and a theme this time. And at first I was like, heck no, that's too many. And then I looked at them, I was like, wait. So, tonight's genres are first person shooter, flight simulator,
Okay.
music, and stealth.
Uh-huh.
And the theme is power. So I kind of was a little lax on the theme, but at the very least, it kind of got a nod in the title. I ended up calling it Power Chord. So it's a 1 to 2 player game because I can imagine like a split screen thing, either co-op or against each other, being kind of cool with this. I also imagine this being really cool in VR because it kind of has a VR like component to it if you so chose to play it that way. Um, the graphic style is cel shaded. I wanted this to be similar to Untitled Goose Game and
Okay.
to Pet the Pup and things like that, so that when you're moving around in a 3D space, of course, it's not going to be top down, so you have to. It's going to be the same kind of perspective as it would be in Pet the Pup. So you don't want things to be too visually distracting or something that would make somebody sick with motion sickness and things like that. So cel shaded, very simple. The audio style are interesting. So the tracks are randomized, so you can have like there's 24 whatever just arbitrary number of tracks in the game, and it doesn't really matter like which one happens to be when. It's just it can happen whenever. So the levels don't necessarily need to be predetermined. The music is, but essentially how it works. Of course, this is first person as it's one of the genres. But the story here is that you're trying to study in a library and it's just too dang quiet. And it's time to liven things up and get people grooving again. So you're at, insert library here, and you are trying to get the library to make noises and music and get people to start jamming out and grooving along with you at wherever you're supposed to be studying or using a computer or reading a book or something like that. But you're bored as heck and you're trying to get people to do stuff that isn't boring. So the hook here is, of course, you gotta rock out. So your inventory here, because you, the person, the actual person in the game, you're going to be flying a drone equipped with a Nerf gun. and a GoPro. So you are watching the video output of the GoPro, and you are trying to fly around to various areas inside of the library. Like you might have a music section, or you might have a display with an instrument, or you might just have a fire alarm or something. Like you'll have different ways to make noises. You can push a bookshelf over if you manage some tripping somebody with a Nerf dart and they fall into a bookshelf and it makes a bunch of noise or something like that. But obviously, over time, the better you do, or perhaps the more people help you out, or people discreetly give you upgrades to your tech, you'll get HUD upgrades so that you can see, oh, hey, there's a noise making device over here, or there could be something cool, but it's not loud enough, so let's put an amplifier over there. Or something is making too much noise, like, I don't know, a baby crying or something like that. And you find a way to like solve their problem, or if there's a noise that's being mechanically made, you can actually silence the noise by destroying the object or taking power away from it and things like that. So the mechanics here, of course, you have to fly your drone through obstacles and pass library staff to re-enable instruments and speakers to perform an additive piece of music. So how it works is you have a checklist that you need to complete in order to pass the level. That checklist is like, hey, go find the blank. And it ends up being the fire alarm or a water fountain that's turned off that you can turn on or something like that. And you need to avoid the staff of the library so they don't, try to follow the drone back to where it came from or things like that. So you're flying through these obstacles, you're flying past the staff, and you're trying to make noises and trying to be avoidant of all of these people who are trying to find out how all of these things are happening. The levels are, again, completed once all of the additive music tracks line up and the full song is playing and enough people are being distracting that the library staff just kind of gives up. So, of course, much like Untitled Goose Game, there are going to be hidden objectives. So you will occasionally find those by chance, and those will be static for that level in the future. So if you find them, remember them because you can earn special bonuses or power ups or maybe an Easter egg or two. But of course, the objective here is obviously you are the operator of a GoPro and Nerf equipped drone tasked with blasting music throughout the central library, all while your efforts go unseen.
It's a quiet day at the library, and you are a horrible person.
Yes. Thank you. That's great. Keep it.
Oh my goodness! All right, I think you hit all of the genres and the theme too.
I tried.
Oh, you
So,
got everything in there. You got the whole first-person flight sim going on with the piloting of the
uh-huh.
drone, and then the music, of course, which is the objective of to complete the levels, and then the stealth is avoiding library staff. So there you go. You hit them all.
Cool. So yeah, that's my thinking outside the box very greatly for me game for this month.
Well, you got music in there, so that's not entirely like out of your wheelhouse, right?
Well, yeah, I would hope not, but I mean, it's a different kind of music. Like I'm not performing it this time; I am enabling it.
True. I mean, you're orchestrating it, sort of.
Yes, yeah, that is very true.
Well, cool, cool. I'm glad we've got some kind of weird stuff and some kind of standard stuff, and just kind of generally well put together designs this time. I like those. Very good, very
That's
good.
fun. You as well.
Okay, I think that will do it for round 83. Any final thoughts that we need to leave everybody with tonight?
No, I think we are pretty much good to go.
Very good. Well, as always, thank you very much, everybody, for watching, listening, past, present, future, whenever you happen to come across these things. I am Mr. Bond.
And I'm Tormod.
We'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.